Triple H just crossed a line nobody saw coming. The game attacked Paul Heyman on Monday Night Raw, and the reason will shock you. Bron Breakker's transfer to SmackDown sparked an explosion of violence. The WWE power structure just got turned upside down. I'm breaking down this insane situation right now. This is Suplex Rumble, and this changes everything. Suplex Rumble family. What we just witnessed on Monday Night Raw was unprecedented in modern WWE. Triple H, Paul Levesque, the game, the cerebral assassin, the chief content officer of WWE, the man who literally runs the creative direction of the entire company, just physically attacked Paul Heyman. Let that sink in for a moment. We're not talking about two wrestlers settling a score. We're talking about WWE's top executive getting physical with one of the most influential figures in wrestling history. This isn't just storyline chaos, this represents a complete breakdown of WWE's power structure. And the catalyst? Bron Breakker's sudden transfer from Raw to SmackDown. A roster move that seems simple on the surface but has revealed deep tensions, power struggles, and political maneuvering behind the scenes. Paul Heyman, the legendary Wiseman, apparently orchestrated Breakker's move to SmackDown without Triple H's approval or possibly against his wishes. And the game's response was swift, violent, and absolutely stunning. The WWE universe is in shock. Social media is exploding. And we need to break down exactly what happened, why it happened, and what this means for the future of WWE. Let me walk you through exactly how this situation unfolded, because every detail matters. Monday Night Raw was progressing as usual. High-quality matches, developing storylines, the WWE universe getting their weekly dose of sports entertainment. And then Paul Heyman appeared. The Wiseman walked out with that characteristic confidence, that knowing smile, that aura of someone who always has an agenda. Heyman grabbed a microphone and began addressing the WWE universe about recent developments. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Paul Heyman announced that Bron Breakker, the second-generation superstar, the genetic freak, one of Raw's most valuable assets, had been transferred to SmackDown. The announcement sent shockwaves through the arena. But Heyman didn't just announce it, he gloated about it. The Wiseman made it clear that he was responsible for the move. He positioned it as a strategic masterstroke, a power play that demonstrated his influence within WWE's hierarchy. And that's when Triple H's music hit. The game stormed to the ring with an intensity we rarely see from him in his executive role. This wasn't the composed corporate leader, this was the cerebral assassin, and he was furious. The confrontation started verbally. Triple H got in Heyman's face, demanding an explanation. How dare Heyman make a roster move of this magnitude without proper approval? Who does he think he is? Heyman, being Heyman, didn't back down. The Wiseman started with his silver-tongued manipulations, trying to explain, trying to justify, trying to use his legendary verbal skills to talk his way out of the situation. But Triple H was beyond words. The game's anger was boiling over. Years of political tensions, power struggles, competing visions for WWE's future, it all came to a head in this moment. And then Triple H snapped. The game laid hands on Paul Heyman. We're talking about physical violence from WWE's chief content officer. A spine buster. The signature move that the game has used to punish opponents throughout his legendary career. Heyman was down. The Wiseman, not an active competitor, took the full impact. The shock in the arena was palpable. WWE officials rushed to the ring. The chaos was uncontrollable. Now let's talk about why Bron Breakker's transfer sparked this explosive confrontation, because this goes deep. Bron Breakker represents the future of WWE. Second-generation star from the legendary Steiner family. Incredible athleticism, raw power, unlimited potential. This is someone WWE has invested heavily in developing. For Raw, losing Breakker is massive. The Red brand just lost one of its most marketable young stars. Someone who could main event WrestleMania someday. Someone who brings legitimacy, excitement, and that rare combination of legacy and fresh talent. Here's what makes this personal for Triple H. The game has been instrumental in developing Breakker's career. Triple H sees himself in Bron, that intensity, that drive, that cerebral approach to wrestling combined with physical dominance. Triple H likely had plans for Breakker on Raw. Championship storylines, marquee matches, a carefully crafted trajectory to superstardom. And Paul Heyman just destroyed those plans with one roster move. From Triple H's perspective, this isn't just about losing a wrestler, it's about having his authority undermined. It's about Heyman showing disrespect for the game's vision. It's about power dynamics within WWE's leadership. So why did Paul Heyman orchestrate this move? What does the Wiseman gain from transferring Breakker to SmackDown? Option 1, Heyman is building an alliance. Maybe he's positioning Breakker as a key piece in some larger SmackDown-based faction or storyline. The Wiseman always thinks 3 steps ahead. Option 2, this is about power. Heyman is demonstrating that he has influence, that he can make major decisions, that he's still a force to be reckoned with in WWE's power structure. Option 3, Heyman is protecting his own interests. Maybe having Breakker on Raw was somehow threatening to Heyman's position or plans. Moving him to SmackDown eliminates that threat. This situation highlights the importance of the brand split. Raw vs. SmackDown isn't just about roster divisions, it's about competing visions, about different leadership philosophies, about WWE's internal power struggles manifesting in storyline. What we're witnessing is a fascinating power struggle between two of the most influential minds in wrestling history. The game built his WWE legacy on being the cerebral assassin, always thinking, always planning, always 3 steps ahead. As Chief Content Officer, Triple H has a vision for WWE's future. Triple H represents stability, structure, long-term planning. He's someone who wants control over every aspect of WWE's creative direction. The idea that someone like Heyman could make a major decision without his approval? That's unacceptable to the game. Triple H also carries the weight of WWE's future on his shoulders. He's Vince McMahon's successor in many ways. The pressure to maintain WWE's success, to build new stars, to keep the machine running, it's immense. When Heyman undermines that authority, it's not just a personal slight, it's a threat to the entire structure Triple H has been building. Heyman has been a power player in wrestling for decades. He's managed the biggest stars, he's run entire promotions, he's influenced WWE creative at the highest levels. The wise man doesn't see himself as someone who needs approval. From Heyman's perspective, his track record speaks for itself. He's discovered talent, he's built storylines, he's created moments that define wrestling history. Why should he defer to Triple H when his instincts are equally valid? Heyman also represents a different philosophy. He's more about chaos, about unpredictability, about taking risks that might not fit into neat corporate structures. That conflicts with Triple H's methodical approach. These two have history. Years of working together, competing for influence, navigating WWE's complex political landscape. There's mutual respect, but there's also underlying tension. Both men are legends who are used to being the authority. Putting them in positions where they have to share power or defer to each other? That's a recipe for conflict. This goes beyond just Bron Breakker. This attack represents fundamentally different visions for what WWE should be. Triple H wants control, consistency, a sustainable model for success. Heyman wants creative freedom, bold moves, the ability to shake things up. Those philosophies are bound to clash. The reaction to this shocking attack has been incredible across the wrestling world. Social media exploded immediately. Wrestling fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. The chief content officer of WWE physically attacking Paul Heyman? This is unprecedented in the modern era. Some fans are loving this. They're excited to see Triple H back in a physical role, even if it's just one big moment. The game is a legend, and seeing him hit that spinebuster brought back memories of his in-ring dominance. Other fans are concerned about the implications. If WWE's leadership is in chaos, what does that mean for the product? Can the company function if the people at the top are at war? How do the WWE superstars respond to this? Do they take sides? Does this create a divide between Raw and SmackDown wrestlers? Some superstars might support Triple H, respecting his position, his authority, his role as the leader. Others might side with Heyman, appreciating his creative input, his legendary status, his different approach. Who's really in charge of WWE now? If Triple H can attack Heyman, if Heyman can make major roster moves without approval, where are the lines of authority? Does WWE need to clarify the power structure? Does someone need to step in and restore order? These questions create compelling uncertainty. Where does Breakker stand in all this? He's the pawn in a game between two chess masters. Does he want to be on SmackDown? Does he appreciate Heyman's maneuvering? Or does he feel like he's being used? Breakker could become a key player in this power struggle. His choice of who to align with could tip the balance. This attack opens up months of storytelling possibilities. We could see continued power struggles between Heyman and Triple H, faction warfare with superstars taking sides, Breakker becoming a central figure in the conflict, authority figures trying to restore order, and eventual confrontations and matches to settle the score. Let's talk about where this explosive situation goes from here. Will there be punishment for Triple H? Can you discipline the chief content officer? Or does his position make him untouchable? That's a fascinating question. Will Heyman press charges in storyline? Will he demand Triple H be suspended? Will he use his own influence to make the game's life difficult? Does Bron Breakker's transfer get reversed? Will Triple H use his authority to bring Breakker back to Raw? Or does the move stand, keeping the heat on this situation? Maybe Breakker gets a choice. Let him decide which brand he wants to represent. That empowers the talent and adds another layer to the story. Could we see Triple H come out of retirement for one more match against a Heyman representative? The game versus someone Heyman manages in a proxy war? Or maybe this builds to a massive Raw versus SmackDown confrontation at a major pay-per-view. Survivor Series style warfare with these tensions as the backdrop. The Wiseman will definitely retaliate. Heyman doesn't take attacks lightly. His revenge will be calculated, strategic, and absolutely devastating. Expect Heyman.